To the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Yeah, did you know that right now I can fulfill one of Dakotah's expectations of me?
Can you?
Yeah, because Kindergarten Cop is on Netflix now.
Giacomo, are you going to watch it though? That's the question.
Well, here's the thing. I want to watch it, but I also want to build and paint stuff, and I want to focus on the movie. There's a problem. So maybe that's why
what do you want to build and paint that's so important that you can't watch Kindergarten Cop?
Commissions? I like money. Don't you?
Yeah. But what is your commission?
It's literally one model and it's almost done.
Okay. So you're telling me that like by Bay Area Open, which is going to be this week, right? This weekend.
Yep.
You can't finish it by then?
I can't make you that promise and then disappoint you. I still haven't finished Angels of Death. All right.
So what you're telling me is that you still can't make me happy.
Not in that way.
Watching Kindergarten Cop. Blayne, have you seen Kindergarten Cop?
I'm going to be honest with you, Dakotah. It doesn't even sound familiar.
No.
Oh my. Okay, I'm going to pull up a picture. I'm going to put it on the Discord. For all of the podcast listeners, I'm sorry. You guys can look it up too right now. No, don't type in podcast.
You might know this one line from the movie, though. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it sounds familiar.
Oh my goodness!
It sounds familiar, but like,
hey, Giacomo, can we legally put in like the trailer of Kindergarten Cop in our podcast?
Maybe like 2 seconds of it, a single 2-second audio clip.
Okay, well, here we go, fellas.
All right,
here we go. Can you guys see this?
It's happening.
A 1990, bro. You realize I was born in 2000, right? I'm young.
Here you go.
Kindergarten Cop.
This trailer throws me off.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ever even heard of this movie.
It's because you were born in the year 2000. Okay, Blayne?
Yeah, that's exactly why. I'm young. It's fine.
Did anybody get like Terminator 2 vibes off of this? Looking for
I
son and
definitely
mother?
did. Yes.
Yeah.
But you've seen Terminator, but
I've seen Look, I've seen good movies.
Oh,
okay.
So it's like, this is how the production meeting went, right? Hey guys, we really like Terminator. We can't do that again. So what if we make the Terminator a teacher of like second graders or kindergartners? Yeah, that one. And then people are like, how would that work? And then you see the movie and it works. So, it's a good movie, Giacomo. You should watch it. It's now on Netflix. # not sponsored. Even Richmond, I think I saw his name was the director.
I mean, you're right. It's on Netflix, but it's not on Netflix. The Squad Games Podcast. This is us. We're actually on Spotify, Apple Music, and a bunch of other things, and even sometimes on YouTube. Yeah. Today, I'm still Giacomo. I'm with Dakotah and Mr. Blayne today, and we're going to talk about some cool stuff.
Absolutely.
And talk about a cold opening there, man.
Yeah, talk about the longest cold opening. Now, Blayne, you want to tell us about your YouTube channel?
Yeah. So we're known as Six Sided Legion. We started, I want to say, probably back in August of last year. We kind of just got our friend group together that started Kill Team way back last year, and thought, hey, let's make a YouTube channel. We can do some battle reports, maybe some tournament talks when we do those, and now it's kind of our thing. I don't know. It's a really cool experience. So.
I love it.
Yeah, man. Have it looks like you guys have a couple videos out now. Are you guys looking to do this once a month? What do you guys have like a whenever you guys can do it, or
we try. So currently it's been about a once a month thing. We want to try to do one every 2 weeks. So typically we'll have like a weekend where we record 1, 2, maybe even 3 battle reports. And then we just kind of spend time editing each one and, popping them out every 2 weeks or so. So we just recorded one last night. I think we might be recording another one today. So,
Ooh.
yeah, a little sneak peek. Might be, a little Wormblade versus Hyrotech action going on. So
Ooh, we got the scoop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you guys want to see some pretty awesome battle reports, make sure you guys go over there, show them some love. Subscribe, like, comment. The algorithm
all the good stuff. I know we do have something kind of in the works for 1,000 subscriber special, so we're a little less than halfway there, but I'm hoping that we can get there pretty soon. So,
well,
I hope you can make it too. Yeah.
Hell yeah!
It'd be a pretty big goal for us.
So, quick question about your food preferences. Which deployment train are you on?
Oh gosh, back to this. Okay.
Yep.
Look, I don't know where I heard it or what the conversation was, right? But Dorito, or not Dorito, but nacho is fine, right? Nacho is cool, I guess. Pizza's all right? It makes sense. But the real winner is grilled cheese. And the reason being, right, when you cut that grilled cheese in half, like diagonally, and you spread the 2 pieces apart, all the ooey gooey cheese is in the middle of the board, right? It just makes sense thematically.
He's right.
I mean,
a little bit of a niche take there, but
it's definitely niche. It's definitely also wrong.
I would beg to disagree, but
it's the anthrax of the big four.
you and your Domino Pizza sponsorship can take that into the other room, okay?
Hey, if Doritos sponsored, I'd flip the switch. I'm just saying. But
are you trying to work with Kraft Singles so you can get a sponsorship with cheese?
I actually want a Campbell's sponsorship for tomato soup.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
How does soup become a?
Because you dip the grilled cheese in the soup. If you never dipped,
yeah, but how do you do that if you've already cut it apart and you have the cheese like over the entire board? You see what I'm saying?
You can still dip the Dakotah. You are taking this like in another direction.
I mean, that's pretty much what I'm best at.
Yeah, it's what you're best known for sure.
is kindergarten cup love, and
devil's advocate. Yeah,
devil's advocate. Yeah, absolutely.
And only being partially colorblind.
Color.
I did not know that.
I am color. What is it called?
Deficient.
That's what the doctor said. Color deficiency of red and green. So I let too much red into my eyes, which is weird to talk about. But not 100% colorblind.
Yeah, I know that they make glasses for that. If you've ever looked into those.
Yeah, that would be great if I had health insurance, but
Oh well.
Skill team or health insurance, pick one.
Yeah, exactly. So today we are talking about the Inquisition Ashes of Faith box, and it's going to be amazing if you can get your hands on it. Giacomo, what time did you wake up this morning? You want to tell us a little bit about what happened in your morning routine?
Yeah, so I woke up around 6:00, did my stuff in the morning, went back to bed, and then around I want to say 7, I thought, oh yeah, the Ashes of Faith box came out today, or pre-order came out. So casually I strolled over to their website and thought, let's see if we can even get in the queue. Just, what the hell, what's going to happen? And it was a 404, page has been expunged.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that boxes were out of stock within 30 seconds.
Yep, I jumped on at 10:03 and it was gone.
Yeah. I heard that from somebody that they actually went live at 9:55 and not 10.
Really?
Which threw everybody for a loop. So all the scalpers got all the boxes before everybody else could even know that they're on pre-order.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is I will be praising corn if I don't get my box and going for skulls and blood for the blood god and stuff. So the only thing that I get once again that can save me is the Inquisition's light. I'm
I
going
mean,
down
yeah.
that path.
No, real quick before we get there though, Dakotah, if they're looking to try to get any sort of Kill Team product or any other product or even tournament things, where can they go to?
If they click on our affiliate link and go to flg.com, or our affiliate link will take you there, you can get secondhand miniatures, you can get firsthand miniatures, and you can get any of your tournament wants and needs. So the Las Vegas Open is going to happen on January 18th through the 21st of 2024. It's going to be at the Rio Hotel, and there's 2 hotel blocks. There's one more upscale, and then there's one more budget, so that there should be a price point for everyone. For the Kill Team event itself, we will have 2 different packages. We're going to have a championship package, which will be 3 days long from January 19th through the 21st. Day 1, day 2, and day 3 are going to be 3 games each for the championship. The third day, you can choose to drop and play in the all random tournament, which is going to be pods. You can bring 3 different teams. You get to randomly select a bunch of tac ops. So if you're not feeling the competitive spirit anymore, you can always drop and go just have fun. The winners of each of those pods get to do a spin a wheel for a prize. So everything is as random as possible to play that up. Our narrative one, we're going to have probably only 10% of the tickets that we're going to be offering for the championship package. So if you want to do that, make sure you get it. Day 1 is going to be 3 single games, and day 2 is going to be 2 2v2s. So it's always going to be better if you have a partner to go with and play. So day 2 is a little bit more exciting. And day 3 will also be a random tournament. Well, it'll be the same random tournament, but some of the competitive players might come down and play, and it should be a lot of fun. Our affiliate link will be posted in this, and we'll be putting on the Discord. I'll also be putting a lot of it up on June 9th or June 8th, so that people can just click on it and be ready to take it away. We did sell out last year 4 times because we kept getting additional tickets, but I can tell you that we will only get a certain amount of tickets this year, and when they're gone, they're gone. So sorry to play on that FOMO for you guys, but if anyone wants to go, I do want you guys to be there. So make sure that you get your tickets while they last, for sure. But that's pretty big news. It's going to be a lot of fun for LVO this year. We're trying to possibly double the attendance that we had last year, if not, at least double. So should be a lot of fun. I think this might be Blayne's first time hearing this. Blayne, what do you think?
I, for one, am definitely excited. I also will be trying to go. Obviously it's, probably about 9 months out. So definitely can't, promise anything, but I'm sure us at Six Sided Legion would love to come back again. It was a blast last time, and it sounds like an even cooler time this time. So
yeah, last year I experienced burnout, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. So what we're trying to do is start at 9 a.m., done at 5, or it's actually probably going to be closer to 4:15 on the first day, second day, third day, so everyone can go still have fun in Vegas on the night. But the problem is that once you go over 125 players, you can no longer do a 7-round tournament. So that would make us either have to do an 8-round tournament, which would be 4 rounds on Saturday, 4 rounds on Sunday, and I did that at KTO, and it wasn't that much fun. Or you could do a 3-3-1 or 3-3-2. So I just felt like, in order to help burnout and help everyone have a little bit more fun at Vegas in general, so it's not a Kill Team isn't the only thing you're doing there. So that's why we chose to split it up into 3 days. On Thursday, we're going to have a social, and on Friday night, we also might be doing something that we are currently working on for. It's not After Dark like what it used to be, but we might have something cooking on that Friday night. So if people still want a little bit more kill team or see a little bit more of the community from anywhere, 40K, anyone, they can come over and jump in and have some fun. So, but it's enough of LVO. Let's move into Ashes of Faith.
AOF, if you will.
AOF?
Yeah, I love AOF. Yeah.
It's better than AOL.
So are you, Blayne, are you looking to pick up any of these teams in particular and play them?
So funny enough, around Christmas time, I ended up getting the Accursed Cultists and the normal Chaos Cultists boxes, and I had them unbuilt on my shelf when this box got revealed. So all I need is the Dark Commune, and I've got that entire team.
Wow. Nice.
So I
now, is the Dark Commune sold out? That's the question.
Probably, but I planned on kit bashing them anyway. So I'm gonna have some fun with it, and do some custom stuff. I want to do some Slaneshi stuff, and maybe
cool.
maybe do my own thing. So
now, are you planning on making I think by far the easiest way to proxy the Dark Commune is just to run a bunch of Nazgul.
Oh, yo, that'd be sick.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
and then what you have is
cool.
is just a bunch of hobbits that they kill and transform.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah,
into like wargs and stuff, and then they turn into like the cave trolls, and then you can run like a bunch of cave troll memes.
That is a very interesting idea.
I'm sure that we might see it at LVO. That would be a lot of fun. And then we also had when we spoke to Orion, the chef idea.
Yes.
There's so many great things. You could turn them into Pokemon, start them off as Charmanders, turn them into Charmeleons, and they pop out as Charizards, winged, horned, whatever.
Actually, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Then you just have a bunch of trainers as your heroes,
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
It'd be pretty cool to also have like your what are they called? The accursed gifts or whatever, those tokens, like just to signify which ones are which. You could have like little Pokeball tokens, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't work as well, but
little Pokeball tokens work, the little circles around them, because you get to choose. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but which ones?
Yeah.
You want to jump into the meat of it then? Jump into a Chaos Cult?
Yeah, sure. We can do Chaos first. Make everyone wait.
for the other one?
Honestly,
the other one is probably the more complex. So
yeah, well, yes and no. So the cool thing is that as an overview, I haven't looked at any of the narrative rules, unfortunately. Didn't have time. But for the two competitive looks or competitive aspects, or just how the teams function in general, Chaos Cults are much more difficult in game because they do a lot more in the game. You almost have like a list building while you're playing, so on and so forth, compared to the Inquisition that has like a lot of brain power and strategy, tactics, and practice even before the game, because obviously you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to bring Arbites into Felgors because Arbites are good into Felgors. So you're going to bring the Inquisition plus the Arbites guys, right? And then you're only going to know that if you play it, and there's 37 teams out there. So there's a lot more prep, but it makes sense thematically as well, because the Inquisition is going to prep everything anyways. And Chaos is just going to, balls out.
Yeah.
It's chaotic.
So their archetypes are Infiltration and Seek and Destroy, and they are purely a hero comp team. So what we mean by that is that they have one specific list, and that's the list they take. They have 15 members. That's the biggest kill team outside of Gellerpox that we've seen. What do you guys think about having so many models in this?
For how many people are going to perish as you play the game, it's an absolute necessity in order to get to do their main mechanic.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah. I also think because the normal little cultists and getting a little bit ahead of ourselves have GA too. So realistically, it's only about 9 or 10 activations. So I think it's perfectly fine.
I think they're also going to be. I think they're going to be a pretty good overall team, for reasons that we can discuss in a little bit. But I think they're going to be pretty decent into horde teams and into maybe not melee hordes. I mean, we'll have to see. Like, I don't know how good they're going to be into Felgor, but who is at this point, right?
Yeah.
Intercession's supposed to be pretty good into them, so I guess I can't say that.
We'll find out. Yeah.
So when we go through the book in order, we run into tac ops next. Do any of you have a favorite tac op that they have, or do you think that they're all just bad?
No, I think there's a very, very good one. Tear through. It's sorry, not tear through. Profane defilement.
I was about to say. Yeah, I was about to say.
I got ahead of myself. Profane defilement is like, oh yeah, you were already going to do this anyways, so keep doing that.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
How about you, Mr.
Which does
D?
what?
Oh,
you want to say what? Because remember,
Yeah.
not everyone on the podcast knows what happened yet. So why don't you read it out for us?
So you can reveal this tac up at the reveal step, a target reveal step of any turning point after the first. If a friendly cult demagogue, icon arc, or mind witch operative starts and ends the turning point within square 3 inches of the center of the kill zone, you score a victory point. Do it again, get a second victory point. So
seems like they would be excellent with security. Too bad they don't have a security.
Nope.
Yeah, I think it's good because the majority of your team, you kind of want to be up and running at people. I think you're going to run into issues against teams that want to take security with that. So, if you're going to play Gellerpox might want to take security into you because they very well may think you're going to take profane defilement every turn or every time. So they would just stick their hulks in the middle of the battlefield and, could be bad news.
I'd love to see a Hulk versus a Torment. That'd be so cool thematically. So
pretty sure Hulks would win.
For sure.
But yeah, you're right.
They're supposed to. Yeah. They're supposed to. You only get 4 of them, right?
Right, and they're characters. So
yeah, especially the thrice cursed. So now here's the thing. Remember how I was telling you I wanted my heroes to have like protagonist vibes, which I think I want my heroes to have protagonist vibes, and it's unfortunate that we don't necessarily get that in the Inquisition team, but we definitely have that. I feel in this team with the demagogue. I guess we should wait for that. Let's talk about their abilities.
So you want to go for this one?
Sure. And then Blayne, let's have you go over their gifts and what you think is going to be the best.
Okay. Yeah.
So their mutations are, though, there's a few things that probably need to be cleared up in this. And I think that they will be cleared up very soon. One of which is if during the battle, friendly chaos cultists can mutate. Each time they do, you have to mutate them into the following. Now they can only mutate once, I believe. No, actually, they might not be able to. Or your chaos cultists can mutate from a devotee into a mutant into a torment, or they can regain D3 plus 1 wounds. Now they do that in a few very special ways. So in the strategy step, you can spend, when you would spend a strategic ploy, instead you pass and you just mutate any number of friendly chaos cult models into for however many turning points it is. So if it's turning point 1, you can spend it. You can mutate one of your little dudes into a mutant. Turning point 2, you can take 2 guys and turn them either one guy into the torment, one guy into a mutant, right? So at that point in time, you could do that. At the end of a combat in which a devotee operative inflicts damage but is not incapacitated, can also transform. So that could happen. I mean, you could transform every single model into into an actual mutant on turning point 1 or turning point 2, just from charging them, not dying, and doing 2 damage to each model, right? So it is possible, but very unlikely. And then also, when your cult demigod operative performs an accursed benediction action, which we'll go over that in a little bit, you can also take an operative and transform it. Now, there are a few things to remember when these guys mutate. When they mutate, even if they have 1 wound left, they go up to their full amount of wounds for whatever the new model is. Now, it's the same model. They just basically get healed. So from a devotee who has 7 wounds, even if he has 1 wound left, turns into a mutant, has 7 wounds again. If that goes all the way down to 1, then and transforms, then all of a sudden you have a 13 wound model. So then he effectively has 24 wounds, right? Which is kind of nutty, but it's not going to happen to everyone, right? So whenever that happens, you want to swap the miniatures as close as possible to where they were. And then there's a few little nuanced rules that we should discuss and make sure that no one gets them confused. Now, in the rules, it does say that when you, at the end of the battle, you revert the model at the end of the battle back to the devotee, but I'm pretty sure that is afterwards. So actually, it should be as rules as intended, or only during narrative. I don't think it actually means like during the actual end of the battle step. Otherwise, since it's a transformation and it's not a mutation cost, then the models would die. Models would, shrink smaller, not be able to contest objectives possibly, or seize ground. Causes way too many things, and it definitely was not meant to be there, or not meant to be read as such. Also, there is a very specific rules interaction where you can spend the strategy phase, when you can turn a devotee into a mutant. Technically, the way as it's written is that you can just keep doing that over and over and over, and then you can start off the game with 5 mutants and 3 of the torments, and that's obviously not how it's meant to be. It should only be once. So if you guys are going to go out there and you're going to try to do that, I don't think I'd ever play with anyone who's trying to do that, because that's obviously not intended. And I'm sure that we will get clarifications on those soon enough. And that is not how they will be run in tournaments either. So it's a little bit confusing, but goes devotee to mutant to torment. And they get there in very specific ways. So just make sure you guys are transforming whenever you can, and trying to keep your guys alive. Mr. Blayne?
Yeah.
Talk about these gifts?
Yeah. So this is probably the more interesting part in a competitive set, I suppose. So you've got 6 accursed gifts, and you gain these gifts when you mutate into a mutant or torment. So how these work is, the first time that you transform a devotee into a mutant, you have to choose one of these gifts for all of your mutants for the rest of the game to gain. And then the first time you transform a mutant into a torment, you choose another gift, and all your torments get, I believe, both the mutant and the torment abilities. So it can get kind of crazy, especially when you stack the right ones together on your torments. And then you've got a tactical ploy to kind of add one when you activate a torment as well, which is kind of cool. But so I guess I can go over these real quick in order. First one, we've got Winged, which is ignoring any or all modifiers to its movement characteristic, and ignoring the first 2 inches of a single climb, drop, or traverse in that activation. That is kind of nuts. It's basically optimized gate in a way from Hunterclade, which we all know is really good.
Busted.
Yeah, I'm very excited to try that one out. Get some non-reciprocal charges going. Second one we have is Fleet, which is also really good to tack onto Winged. Is just adding 1 inch to the operative's movement characteristic. So 9-inch charges, 7-inch moves, really, really good stuff.
10-inch threat range.
Exactly. You can even kind of use it in conjunction with one of their equipment, which is a crack grenade, and get a pretty large crack grenade threat. So for number 3, we've got Chitness, which has improved this operative's save characteristic by 1. I believe every operative on this team saves on 5s. So having your Torments or Mutants save on 4s is pretty good. Number 4, we have Horned, which is each time this operative finishes a charge action, you can select one enemy operative within its engagement range. It suffers a mortal wound or D3 mortals if it is a torment. So basically spiked charge from the Lumberghast on Gellerpox. I will probably see myself using this one 90% of the time because it's really good. Number 5 is Sanud. So you can ignore any or all modifiers to the weapon skill characteristic of this operative's melee weapons. So it kind of gets around injury a little bit. And then your melee weapons also gain brutal, which is
really good.
Yeah, it's good in the right matchups when you are worried that they're kind of just going to parry you out. So I like that a lot. And then final one is Barbed. This operative's melee weapons gain Reap 1 or Reap 2 if it's a Torment. This is probably going to be my least taken one, just because it is very, very specific to the situations that you find yourself in. So
if you had to choose 2, which 2 would you choose?
I would probably go Winged and Horned because being able to get non-reciprocal charges and have mortals done on those charges is really, really good, in my opinion.
I agree. Those are the 2 I would take. I would maybe switch out Winged for Fleet in Into the Dark, but that might be the only thing that I would change. I think those 2 are probably, like if we're looking at Intercession, right? You had Durable and Rapid forever, right? I think that these 2 will be the main 2 for most teams. How about you, G? What do you think?
No, I'm in agreement. But if I had to choose something different against a team, I might choose Barbed every now and then, especially against the new Goat people. Beastmen. Because they're going to probably be close together. You run in, you can reap all of them in one little spot. That could trigger off their frenzy early before they even get a chance to activate. So then they would activate, do their one thing, and die.
I could see that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I could also see Chitness being used quite a lot, just because it is pretty dang good.
Better saves, yeah.
Yeah, I do like saves, though it doesn't help you in close combat, and that's where these guys want to be. So
yeah.
I think it depends highly on what you want to play, and that's what I'm saying. It very
much depends on the matchups, and even specifically the situations in those matchups.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is like it's pretty difficult to like figure out. Like these guys are going to be difficult in game to make decisions. So if you're good at making decisions under pressure, then you want to do this.
Yeah, they're going to have a high skill ceiling for sure.
Absolutely. So let's move on to strategic ploys and tact ploys. Do you guys have any other comments on abilities? Their abilities?
That's pretty straightforward to me.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. So strat ploys and tact ploys. Do you guys have any specific favorites?
Personally, Sickening Aura is probably my favorite out of the strategic ploys.
Okay.
And I can go ahead and read this off real quick.
Yeah,
so while an enemy so it's 1 CP. While an enemy operative is within 2 of a friendly mutant, torment, or dark commune, so everything but the devotees, you worsen the ballistic and weapon skill characteristics of that enemy operative's weapons by 1, and it's not cumulative with being injured. So I think the most interesting part about this is that things that ignore injury don't ignore this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say as if it were injured. So I really, really like the wording on that, and it's going to make for some interesting combats.
Yeah, this is also, I mean, we'd have to look at the same effects for rust animations for like when you move into and out of the aura, like of when you're getting it, because like during the move, obviously you don't get it. And then, like when let's say if you move through a character to get somebody else and you're out of that range, you don't just still keep the the -1/-1. So
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be a few questions about some of these rules. So
yeah,
it'll be
agreed.
interesting to see what they end up ruling.
I think like most teams, when things first come out, we need a little bit of something. So, I mean, I'm sure that they'll get to the community soon enough. G, did you have any favorite ones?
Yeah, you use it's between two of the strategic and tactical. So starting with Fervent Onslaught, so that way you can re-roll one of the attacks, or sorry, retain one as a normal hit just to have a guarantee. Because again, with the dudes, they're not hitting particularly like you don't have 3-ups and stuff on hitting. So any amount of RNG that you're removing so that you can guarantee a hit is great. And then you pair that with Unleash the Demons, so you can either do a free fight or you fight twice, because you're probably going to be fighting with the mutants and the torments anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Pair that up with their upgrades like we talked about earlier. Charge in, do some D3 mortal wounds, then guaranteed a hit. You're killing some dudes for sure.
Absolutely. For me, I would actually have to say my favorite, I think what is probably the best on them, or that I think I'd be playing more often, especially during capture, during loot, during any of those, I'd say probably is Creature of the Night. Creature of the Night is until the end of the turning point when determining control an objective marker that any friendly mutant or torment operatives within circle of treat enemy operatives total APL as being 1 less. Note, this is not a modifier. So you can actually, I don't know if they have another way of giving another modifier of -1 for controlling objectives or anything like that. But,
They do, yes.
okay, so you can essentially turn a vet guard to 0, multiple models to 1. Space Marines all the way down to 1. So in capture, sometimes that's just going to be great because you can just like walk up and just take away right away. Because when capture is being happened in crit ops, like the moment you lose control, you remove the token.
It neutralizes it. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty strong, I think.
I think I do have a runner-up ploy real quick. And this is, so I played a lot of Blooded. So this is probably coming from that kind of side of me. A Faithful Follower, I feel like is going to be very, very strong. As we've seen with, Protector or the Protector what's the drone protocol?
Savior Protocol.
Savior Protocol from Pathfinders and
Could
the
we
Blooded
just not
ploy.
make any kind of relations or correlations to the space communists? Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, so it's 1 CP tactical ploy. You use it when a friendly Demagogue, Icon Arc, or Mind Witch is selected as the target of a shooting attack. So the 3 kind of specialists on your team. And then you select one other friendly operative that is not one of those operatives that is visible to and within 2 of the 3 specialists. And you resolve the shooting attack against the other friendly instead. And it is treated as a valid target. This is worded in the exact same way that Blooded's ploy is. So you're still getting cover saves. And you don't have to be... it even looks like it's better because the actual new target doesn't even have to be visible to the enemy that's shooting.
Yeah, but then obviously it's like, oh, I'm going to shoot this guy with plasma, and it's like, oh, actually this normal little dude's going to die instead.
Exactly. I love that just as a thematic sense. I love it as a game mechanic. It's great.
Yeah, these guys are literally just orcs. Like, just think about it. Like, not orcs, like Lord of the Ring orcs.
Yeah.
Like they're just around their leaders like Lurtz, and they're just all dying for him, and Boromir standing in the middle, like blowing his horn. And, the rest of them are just killing everything. Sorry. No, that's going to be really strong. In fact, I don't even think I fully read that one through. That's really strong. That's really good.
Yeah, I think it'll be great when when you can kind of stack it along with the icons abilities that we'll get to in a second, I'm assuming. And I definitely feel like it's probably going to be my most used ploy. So
I can definitely see all of these being super good. Like we have Frenzied Demise, which, when something dies, like a mutant or a torment, you can inflict D3 mortal wounds. For Unleash the Demon, you can perform a free fight action or it can perform 2 fight actions. I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff.
I feel like these guys are going to be similar to Gellerpox in a way that like turn 2 or turn 3, you're going to end up spending like 3 CP in the like the turning point just on ploys.
Yeah,
like at least, yeah.
And they have a lot of reminiscence towards them just because, they're also a hero team. They're also Chaos. They also have a ton of models. They also have very similar big dudes or eventual big dudes. So if you like Gellerpox, you'll probably like these guys too. So let's go over a couple of these models. Probably the main. Well, I mean, this team's pretty small. So the Cult Demigod. Say it again, G.
No, I was going to say, it's only actually 7 profile data cards.
Yeah. So we have the Cult Demigod, and he's very strong because he's very, very helpful in his auras and stuff, right? So you can he has a pistol, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 2/3 damage, range 6. He has a staff that can shoot as well, which does 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3/6 damage, but it's only range 2 and it has stun. And then he can also, or she can also make melee attacks, very similar profile, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3/6 damage, also stun. But I feel that when this model moves, and starts casting its AP, it's probably going to stay mostly where it's at. So you kind of want to get this model, I think, where you want to get it, and then buff a bunch of things, and then like turning point 2, you're going to start doing this, or 3, and after 3, it's not going to move, or if you do it on 2, then it's going to move 3, and then on 4, you're going to start doing stuff with it again. But it takes up a lot of setup, right? So we have Accursed Benediction. This is its unique actions. So 1 friendly Chaos Cultist operative that is visible and within 6 can mutate, which you're probably going to be doing that most rounds.
Pretty much every turn.
Yeah, I've heard that this should probably be a free action or a 0 APL action, just because you want to be doing this every turning point if you can, which means that he either can't move or like you're doing, a move action and then that. So,
well, you could get a torment on turn 1 with it. Like you could mutate somebody with your little strat ploy thing, and then look at them and be like, "Yo, you're a big boy now,"
So as it's worded currently, I don't believe that you can, because in the mutate section it says that each friendly can only be mutated once per turning point.
Okay.
Correct.
Well,
so like you can't double it up with this guy, but you can still get 2 torments turn 2. So at
which
least
is strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still super strong. Well, I'm glad that we got that one, because they could have been stronger than I thought they were.
Yeah, that was my first thought, and I had to reread it. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
In that case, I think it probably could go down to 0 AP, but maybe they have their reasons. Maybe when it was at 0 AP, maybe you could just do everything else. Maybe they want you to choose, because Incite Slaughter, you can then get somebody to do within 6 inches, also invisible, free fight action, and then Incite Urgency is they get a free dash or charge right within 6. So you can either not move, make somebody big, make somebody do a free charge, or somebody do a free fight, or maybe later in the game you have somebody do a free charge and then do a free fight action. So pretty strong.
Very strong. And it helps since they all want to sort of be clustered together.
Yeah.
For that point.
I would like to do this Blessed Blade guy, and then you guys tell me what you guys think, and then one of you take the cooler model, the Icon Arch. This guy, he's pretty strong. So I think the Blessed Blade guys, the actual Nazguls of this team, I feel that they are definitely, because they can both. Okay, so these models are, you get 2 of them in a team, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4/6 damage, lethal 5. one round with these guys can easily take out a Space Marine, in my opinion. So they can group activate between the two of them, and as long as they're within 6 inches, and they can complete their actions in any order. So you could have one guy charge a Space Marine, and then the next guy charges a Space Marine, and then the first guy will fight 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/6 damage, lethal 5s. If the Space Marine doesn't die, then the other guy gets to attack and is going to hit and probably kill the Space Marine. So pretty strong for a double activation, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I personally think that they are probably going to be like the I don't want to say like the front line, but you're probably going to be pushing them in the most often, especially because they are 8 wounds, so they can take hits back from a Space Marine or equivalent. You know.
Oh yeah.
And then they can even like trap people in fallback, or not trap them, but deal mortals if they try to get out of engagement range, which is just a good utility, honestly.
I think it's a really cool ability, the Attuned in Purpose. It's something I don't always see, and I think about Talons of the Emperor that are the closest thing to have this ability when you do one sister, one custode. And I like that. I like those abilities. I think they're pretty cool. They seem appropriate because they're only hitting on 4s, so you're going to probably, I don't know, make the total of between 8 hits, probably 5 to 4 hits in total. Which it feels right. It feels right. Not bad.
If you think about it, Into the Dark, you can have a guy open a door, charge somebody. The second model can then charge them and fight them, hitting on 3s, 4/6 damage, lethal 5. So, on Into the Dark, these guys are they're going to be strong too.
I don't know if you guys forgot, but Exaction Squad's Leash Master and the dog have this ability. So.
Yes, they do.
It's not very memorable because Exaction Squad, but yeah, they definitely have that ability as well, and it's probably up there for one of the better like GA2 kind of abilities. So
the Exaction Squad's awesome because you can like have the dog like move extra, then move your model, and then change its action again, and then have it like be a super attack dog and do it all at the same activation, which is super cool.
Let's see that Exaction Squad little group versus these Blessed Blades. See how that goes.
We're not going to talk about that. I'll just put shield guys in front, and then we'll call it a day.
It'll be an episode on your YouTube channel in time.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, yeah.
What about this Icon Arch?
I like it. It's fine. It's cool. Do you want to go for it, Blayne?
Sure. I mean, sure. Yeah, I'll take it. This is probably my second favorite model on the team. So first, it's a 5-up save, 8 wounds. I think all of the commune guys are like that. He's got a burning sensor. It's basically a flamer with 6 dice, but it's torrent 3. So
insane.
That is kind of gross. If you can get him up in
it's a 3-inch flamer,
the thick of it. Yeah, I am very excited for that, especially on Into the Dark when it's also lethal 5. It'll be great. I think it's a nice addition to the team. I guess similar in the sense that like Gellerpox have the Volgrar like pyre gut kind of thing. He's also got a pistol in case you don't want to use the flamer for some reason. 4s on 4s, 2/3, range 6, and then crude melee weapons. So same as your devotees in a way. So it's 3s on 4s, 2/3 damage. He's got 3 abilities. These are all static abilities. He counts as 1 extra for controlling objectives. So he's just a basic icon bearer, which it could be good in collective with the strategic ploy that allows your torments and mutants to make your enemies count as 1 less.
Right.
He's also got ruinous deterioration. So each time an attack dice would inflict damage on an enemy operative within 4 inches of this guy, you add 1 to the damage inflicted from that attack dice. So as long as an enemy operative is within 4 of this guy, they're taking +1 damage on everything, which is kind of good. So it turns like your torments into 5 7s, or 5/6s, and your mutants into 4/6s or 4/5s. It can be very good, especially into elite teams when you just do this after they activate and they're stuck there.
I mean, I could also see that ability being him suiciding himself by running up, getting within one of a model, flame throwing a bunch of models, including himself, and killing everything with this burning center.
I believe that torrent actually doesn't hit friendlies. I think it's just blast and splash.
Wow.
Because torrent, I believe, is just enemy operatives. So I mean, he could totally just run up and flamer everybody. Yeah,
he's pretty good.
He's going to be pretty good.
6 attacks hitting on 2s, 3-4 damage at that point.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, because he does boost himself. And then we've got Ruinous Invigoration. Each time an attack die would inflict damage on a friendly, and that friendly is within 4 inches of him. You subtract 1 from that damage inflicted by to a minimum of 2. So stacked on top of the natural resilience of this team and the healing from mutations, and I feel like this could be really, really good, especially if you take that tack op where you want him in the middle, and you're going to have people in the middle, so you can kind of defend that area a little bit.
Yeah, I could also see them getting the same treatment as Gellerpox by later on. We'll just talk about them now, and then we'll go to the coolest model, the Mind Witch last. G, you can take that one. Devotees, they are there. They have 7 wounds. They're hitting on 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 2-3 damage, just pistols. Not very good. The thing that you can say is that they have 4 attacks in melee, which is better than most normals. So they're not useless. They're just next to useless. And then you have, they turn into Chaos Mutants, and they have 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3-4 damage, Relentless, and Rending, plus the abilities that we discussed a little bit earlier, their bonuses. And finally, you have the big bad boys, the Chaos Torments. Now, the thing between the mutants and the Chaos Torments is that they do have a... not only do these guys heal after you've hurt them if you don't kill them fully, they also have the Feel No Pain of 5+. And we all know that was pretty much nerfed into 6+ for Gellerpox. So I guess we'll have to see how good this team is. And if they're too overpowered, I can foresee the mutants going to a 6+, or Torments going to 6+. Because once they transform, they're going to be they're going to be even harder to kill because of Feel No Pains,
And maybe you add Shitness on top of that, so 4-up save plus let's say
plus
5-up Feel No Pain. Yeah,
pain.
Even worse.
And then on top of that, the Icon Bear reducing damage by 1.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make these things unstoppable tanks.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. I'm not a big fan of. I wasn't a big fan of Gellerpox, but I feel like the mutations and stuff with your Dark Commune, I feel like it's a little bit more interesting, I guess, to play them. So
to me, these guys are just cooler than Gellerpox, just plain and simple, in my opinion. Yeah. So let's go to the Mind Witch.
Yeah, let's go to the Mind Witch. This guy, this person, this abomination is pretty standard stat line. 5-up save, 8. It has the worst attacks I've ever seen. It fights with its fists. So this is a horrible model. Don't ever run it in your team. No, that's besides the point. Really, where it makes up for is not in combat, but rather in its psychic mind. This reminds me of the Blackstone Fortress, those psychers. I forget what those are called. The ones that are kind of floating and using chains to hold them down.
The demon hosts.
Demon hosts. This kind of reminds me of that. So they have 3 special abilities, which are all psychic actions. They have Heinous Deluge, which subtracts 1 APL. All they need is line of sight to the model that they want to remove it from and not be in engagement range, which is incredible. So you just see it and go, that guy's going to have 1 less APL. And again, in conjunction with all the other APL crap you can do, so you can really just make this team do your opponents do nothing. That's the simpler one. Then you have Malefic Vortex. This one is a little more complicated. You're using a token to put in place. So an location visible to this operative. So let's just go over it because there's a lot in this one. It's a psychic action. You remove your Malefic Vortex token that would be on the board. If not, you place one at any location that's visible to this operative or on a vantage point of a terrain. that is visible to the operative as well. So you can kind of put it anywhere if you're playing open board or into the dark. And then each enemy operative within 2 inches of this token gets a mortal wound. In addition, at the end of each turning point, each enemy operative within 2 of that token suffers another mortal wound. It's just doing damage that goes through. Yeah,
so much because you can just use it against castling guys, just like a silent shooter, right? Like get off that vantage point. Exactly.
Yeah. This, like, just alone before we get to the last ability, a lot of this team wants to break up hordes that like to bunch, because you have so many abilities that just punish people for being too close, whether it's Torrent, whether it's the Malefic Vortex, whether it's your ability to reap, all those things. So that's kind of what I'm getting just looking at the team overall. And then now let's get to the last part, Infernal Gaze. This one is a unique thing because I've never seen one like this where it gets stronger as you get closer. So it's a psychic action. You select one enemy operative within 6 inches of it and have line of sight. You suffer a number of mortal wounds based on the distance. So if you're within 6, the enemy takes 3. If you're within 4, you take D3 plus 3, and then if you're within 2, D3 plus 5. So you could just knock people out with this ability. So the Mind Witch is very strong. What it lacks, though, is defensive abilities, so you do want to pair this with maybe one of those Torments to be ready to fight.
Yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite model on the team. And one thing I do want to point out here is it's 2 APL, and these psychic actions are not limited to only 1 per turn. So you can use both, like 2 of these actions per turning point or per activation.
Sure? Because our psychic spells just once.
So normally a psychic action, a psyker would have manifest psychic power as a APL
ability.
action, and that specific action says it can only be used once per turning point. Or in I guess Harlequin's sake, you can use it twice. But these don't say that they limit the how many they can do. Like these are a different way of like approaching psychic actions.
Interesting. So you can just be like, "Hey, Space Marine, you're dead now."
16 Vortex and then Gaze.
So you can. I believe you still have to follow the one of each. So you can't repeat, but like you can do like Infernal Gaze and Malefic Vortex, or any other combination. So
hey, Space Marine, you get only 2 APL. And I'm going to do 8 mortal wounds to you.
Right. Now you're wounded.
Yes.
Like a great plan.
Exactly.
Screw the Corpse Emperor. That hurt me so hard. That hurt me so much to say. I'm so sorry.
It felt lackluster. I'm
so sorry.
Yeah, I definitely.
I'm going to get on my knees real quick.
I definitely heard the lack of motivation behind that statement.
I want to point one thing out, that this is the first team that I can recall that just uses a generic pistol. It's not anything else, right? It's not like right? This is the first time it's just pistol.
I did notice that too.
For what?
Just their profiles. So like, normally if it's ever been like a las pistol or a bolt pistol.
Yeah, it's just a Glock. That's it.
It's just a pistol.
Just a Glock.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I want to imagine that they found them on some dead guardsmen and they just picked them up and just, that's about it. They don't really know how to shoot them, but.
So for the equipment, there's nothing that's like super crazy or overpowered. We can probably skip it. You can give people like a way to dash. You can give somebody a 5-up invul. You can give somebody a special weapon.
I think the one that
grenades.
I think it requires a call out here is Vile Blessing. So you can only take 1. It's 3 EP. You give it to somebody, and then if that operative mutates, they keep this ability. And then they get like a once per battle just a scratch.
Okay.
So, again, you throw that on something that you think is going to be a torment turn 2, and all of a sudden now it's stacked with a 5-up feel no pain and your icon bearer's reduction and healing from mutating. Like there's a lot of damage reduction in this team, and I love it.
You can invest. I was just thinking you could do Chaos Sigil, Vile Blessing. You could give it Chitness. You can make this thing really indestructible.
Yeah.
You really could. So overall, how would you guys kind of grade this specific team?
Personally, I would grade them. I want to say a high A if we were to use a tier list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe S tier if you really got down to the science of it and like played the mutations and accursed gifts and everything like perfectly. I definitely feel like this team has a very high skill ceiling and is not as forgiving as like Gellerpox or Felgor will be.
Yeah, because they're like opposite of Gellerpox, but still just as strong. Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you lose too many of your small dudes like too early, you can kind of throw off your end game. But I definitely feel like this team has a lot of room for like the player to improve. So I love it.
Yeah, I think this team is going to struggle into Pathfinders for sure. They can turn one Alpha Strike. It's going to be really hard to hide all 15 of your models. And you also have a fly drone that can just Fulisade, like two different models. Kill, Fusilid, kill another two models. So instantly you could lose possibly like 5 guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I could definitely see this team struggling into certain matchups, but I would still put them at a strong A, because if you know what you're doing and you know how to hide and you know how to move your models, you should still mostly be able to get in. Because I mean, if you're going to play Pathfinders, maybe you don't take anything. Maybe you just give everyone the free dash, or 5 different models of free dash, so that you can spread out. So there are going to be ways that you can play this team. I think I'd rate them a solid A. And flavor wise and fluff wise, I think this team really is probably one of the better teams in all of Kill Team.
They bring it home for sure.
Yeah.
Flavor. I think both with flavor and just the mutate ability itself is just unique to Kill Team. So
absolutely. Let's move on to the Inquisition. My favorite part of this. So excited. So coolest thing. They can take any archetype. Wow. Fantastic.
Wow.
Gotta
10
love
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
A tier.
Already. A tier. For most people, A tier. Fantastic. These guys can take recon. They can take security. They can take infiltration. They can take seek and destroy.
Whoa, no way.
It's so cool. Any of them, it's going to be really good, I think. Also, like a lot of people online are saying that they're going to be really good or they're going to be really bad. And I feel that these guys are going to have the same problem that like Veteran Guard and other shooty horde teams have, like the Votan, the Hearthkin Warriors. They're going to be difficult to master because there is so much options. There's so much different play on so many teams. But if the right person plays them enough and picks them up enough, these guys can easily podium for sure. And then I also see them, fall into the bottom quite regularly too. If you don't know what teams to take or your secondaries, what secondaries to choose, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's agree. This team has, like, if we thought the other team had a lot going on, this one has even more going on.
Yeah. I think this team you can take between 10 and 13 models for this particular team.
I think it's
right.
I believe it's 12.
Yeah,
because because the minimum that you can take, I believe, is 12 Inquisitional agents.
Yes, and your auxiliary become the inquisitorial agents.
Yeah,
you're right. Okay, yeah. So it's 12 and 13 models.
Yeah.
So you get the interrogator, who is like you're the inquisitor, right? The interrogator is your underling, who is awful at his job other than telling people what to do.
I've heard that he's probably the worst leader in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of action stuff, like, he has great abilities, but his action stuff's kind of whatever. Like, we'll get there.
Yeah. So the Tome School, Skull is kind of there. Like, I'm sure the Inquisitor's yelling at people to do certain things and helping them out. It's just a floating servitor skull on a 32 mil base. Yeah, the Auto Savant, the Quest Keeper, Death World Veteran, Enlightener, Gun Servitor, Hexorcist, the Mystic, the Penal, Legionnaire, and Pistoleer. Now, this team is very, very wide in variety, but the one of the problems is that you either going to have to kit bash this team, or heaven forbid you spend $320 and buy 2 boxes just to make one Inquisition team. It's going to be feels good. So you only get 7 models in the box. So they're really making you, they're like, oh, we heard that everyone wants this Inquisition team. We're going to make them pay for it.
I mean, the good side is GW has released a lot of individual models over the years that if you've been collecting, yeah, you can just put this together. You already have
yes, it. I can pretty much make this team if I wanted to.
I expect you to play it.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Good.
Definitely. So the ancillary supports that they can take is 5 Sisters of Silence, which is going to be amazing with this team. They're great close combat. They have 3-up wounds, 3-up saves, 8 wounds, big swords. Fantastic. The Scions definitely got nerfed. I don't really see a reason why you would take them. It'd probably be better if they just left them off.
There isn't a reason now.
Yeah, there's like nothing for them to do. Like, I thought if they're not going to get their leader to give them something, okay, maybe Sisters of Silence and Scions will get something. At least Sisters have a little bit more use because they have anti-psyker. But if I'm going to take Scions, I'd rather just take Vetguard or I'd take Kasserkin.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
I think Scions, well, here's the problem is like a 3-up, the math goes, if you left Scions at a 3-up hit with the Inquisition's bonuses and you get like an extra dice, you just do way too much damage, right? It's just mathematically bonkers.
Yeah, it might be a similar situation to Kasserkin with elite points, where the stuff that
if you had
get
elite points
on top, or like even Votan, right? The stuff that you get on top of your team makes up for the 4-up ballistic skill.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
then you have access to Kasserkin, which has every option that Scions do, plus gunners, like, or plus some. Like,
what is the Scions comm? I mean, we'll get to the Scions. And maybe there's something special about the Scion comms that is better than the Kasserkin, who gives plus 2 AP to 2 different models.
As far as I know, it's the exact same thing. You can just use it twice in anybody on the board.
So here's my one negative of this team. Just replace them with the rogue traders. Why not? Gives you a little bit more, in my opinion. But, you know. Moving on to the Exaction Squad, you can take 5 operatives, right? The 5 operatives, you can take a bunch of different dudes, including the dog. I also wish, actually, I know a better one. I know a much better one. Let's get rid of the Scions. Okay, stick with me, guys. Okay, it's going to derail.
Oh, this is going to be a hot take. I want to hear this.
It's going to derail hard.
Don't say Eldar.
No.
Oh, I see. I've got one in mind. So I'm thinking, if we're thinking the same thing, this would be interesting.
So we're going to get rid of Scions. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take every dog from every other faction.
That's definitely not what I was thinking.
And then we're going to put them all in the same thing, right? Along with the Imperial Navy Breacher's cat, right?
Okay.
And then you can just take all dogs alongside your models, and that would be amazing. And I'd be very happy.
What that reminds me of? It reminds me of the movie G-Force, where it's the G.I. Joe guinea pigs.
Hell yeah, dude.
I played a video game about that.
Or they're just like, hey, you can take 5 Cyber Mastiffs, or you could take 5, these, and then we'll just reignite the dog conversation from Kill Team long ago. That's besides the point. What is your thought? What would you replace Scions
I was thinking replace Scions with Admech. And that would be so cool. And like throw in like an engine or a tech priest, right? Throw in like the options to take like more servitors, like
the little blue priest dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
Electro priests.
Like give us some more options than just like what already exists with Hunterclade, right?
That would be sick.
That would be sick. But unfortunately, we got Scions.
What if you got to take a single Talons of the Emperor fire team?
So what, you got two
so you need to take
sisters?
You need to take the sisters, or you take the 2 custodes.
So we were thinking about that too. Like I was talking with Brett about that. He mentioned it, and that would be weird.
No, because then it would just be like Talons 2.0.
Yeah, but I mean,
they overshadow everything else. They're too good. They just overshadow.
But you only get 2 guys, You wouldn't be able
but they're still going to overshadow the rest of it. I mean, the thing about custodes, right, is as cool as it would be, custodes are way cooler and better than any inquisitor, other than maybe you know, a few in particular.
No spoilers. The third book hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. But I don't think it would be a good fit, and I think it would like not fit thematically.
I like the theme of like the specialists and from each team, right? Like,
what about 3 Grey Knights?
I could live with 3 Grey Knights.
Like you could take like 7 dudes.
Grey Knights would have been a cool one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Grey Knights are you know, a lot of Inquisition stuff. If they're not going to give us a Grey Knight team, then you know, throw them in this. Give us 2 Grey Knights. Give the Grey Knights like 14 wounds. Just give us like 2 intercession dudes. You know,
or the Terminators, one of the 2, something like that. Yeah,
that would be sick. Yeah. Exaction Squad, Space Cops, 5 models, cool. Kasserkins, 5 models. You also get a medic on top of the other guys and a sharpshooter. Cool. Navy Breachers, you get 6 of them, which are also very good. Awesome. Vet Guard, you get 6. They're just leaving out the spotter. So also very cool.
Yep.
Pretty excited about this team. Everyone that I've seen online, I try not to color my opinion too much. Color me Elmo. I don't know why I said that.
Color me Coda.
Yeah, color me Coda. So, you know, it's very... I've seen some people say Exaction Squad is going to be the way to go. I see some people say Kasserkins or Vet Guard are going to be the way to go, or the Sisters of Silence. I think the coolest thing about this team is you can take whatever you want, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be good. Breachers are going to be good. Vet Guard are going to be good. I know that I have the most experience with my Vet Guard, so I'll probably be taking them, and maybe Sisters, maybe Breachers as well. So even though Exaction is going to be most thematic.
It's probably worth noting too here, if you know, just for anybody who might be listening that hasn't seen these rules, for all of these teams, it's about half of that team that you get to take, and with that, you get to take half of their restrictions. So for like Exaction Squad, you only get up to 2 shields and 1 gunner. Vet Guard, you only get, I believe, 2 gunners, and the sniper is included with that.
Correct.
So it's basically like taking half of the team and half the restrictions. So
yeah,
makes sense. They need it.
It's gonna be pretty good. Obviously for TAC Ops, the first one is going to be the best. We'll speed this up a little bit. The best one is going to be the best. The first one, right? That's what it's.
C's for interrogation.
Yeah. So it's basically like about how Bounty Hunter used to be in Kill Team 1. You kill a model, it drops a token. If you pick it up or if you control it, you gain a point. You have to control it, and you have to pick it up at the end of is it at the end of the game, or is you just control it?
You just control it
at the end of battle.
At the end of battle,
yeah.
Cool. So you can pick it up and you're going to run away with it. You know, it's probably how you know, retrieve item should be, but you know, who am I?
Partner with retrieve item.
Yeah. The other 2 probably don't take them. Pretty simple.
There's an argument for no witness if you know you're playing an elite team that has to come forward. So you might be able to kill, like, let's say 6 Space Marines.
Yeah, so Giacomo, you just want to promote the feels bad of the Kill Team community and just be like, hey, I'm going to fucking board wipe you, or you're going to, you know.
Look, I come from a long history of playing trading card games, and the etiquette is if you can win and you end your opponent, it's better to end the game than to make them suffer. And if that means just tabling them, you know, it's turn 3, table them. They're not having a good time already, you know?
Yeah, spoken like a true Space Marine.
Look, I cut down the dog every time. You know, you're not going to get me with mind games. It's in the door. I have to kill it.
No, I'm going to leave that dog alive. It's Scooby. Their ability is they can have 30 models on the roster, which is cool, and it's needed for this team in particular. They have some of the best strategic and tac ploys, or at least the best tac ploy in the game. Authority.
Yeah.
You can just be like, so you can either say like, hey, you can keep using your CP and I'm going to gain more, or you just don't get to use your ability because I'm going to say
this absolutely shuts down so many teams, and specifically the one that comes to mind is Hyrotech. you just say no to reanimation protocol.
Whoa, I didn't think of that one. I was just thinking of getting rid of just the scratch.
And then we'll get to it. But the Hex Chris or Hex, whatever his name is, the dude with the shotgun.
Yeah.
He can just run up and say no to your the reanimation drone, the plasma site.
Mm-hmm. You can also, it's like, so these guys are really good into, I feel, Hand of the Archon, right? While you have, maybe tactical ploys and strategic ploys wise, maybe not like actual models wise. But then you have the other team who is like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do anything this round. Let me gain that CP real quick, for Hand of the Archon into the Chaos Cultists. So it's very fascinating that also some of these guys are going to be really good into Ravagers, and some of them are going to be really bad. So I'm pretty excited to see like Ravagers really shut down Hand of the Archon, but Hand of the Archon also like really benefit from this Chaos Cultist team. It's fascinating to see how the developers are developing this game going forward.
I like the like always rotating like rock paper scissors concept. So
yeah, do you guys have any? Go ahead, G.
No, I was going to mention, I've always noticed when we're doing reviews, like, yeah, this team's A tier. They're really good against this. And you think about it, that's a good thing. Cause then like there's never been like, well, there is, but the amount of teams that aren't in the circle of like, at least we're be able to beat these other guys is pretty high or pretty low. The people that aren't in the circle, we have a lot in the circle that are beating each other, which is good.
Yeah. Herotech circle. I remember how bad they were. Yeah, I also like that we've only really had like 4 or 5 duds out of like the 30 some odd teams that have come out. So
yeah, and even then, some like most of those teams have been fixed to a point where it's like it's actually worth playing them now. So
well, even Blooded people thought were bad, and then they came out and they're like, actually, we're not awful. We're just good.
We're just interesting to play. Like you got to play us differently. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that the community needs to give a little bit more grace to, is that some of these teams are going to come out and they're going to seem really strong, and some of them need to be played to be figured out. So
they're just sleepers, man. Don't sleep on it.
Some of them are sleepers. I still don't think Blooded are like amazing, but they're good.
They're good.
Any favorite strategic or tactical ploys that you guys thoroughly enjoy about this team?
Outside of Absolute Authority.
Outside of that one.
Embedded Agent for sure. It's just the one where
I was going to mention that one.
Go for it.
You're like, I'm going first, actually.
You can do it.
All right, yeah. So this is hey, I want to see what you're going to pick, and then I'm going to either decide if I need to go first or if it's cool if you go first. So basically, you get before the game starts, you can activate this ability, and then your opponent has to reveal what they're choosing in the scouting step first. Then you do it. And then you can resolve a second one, which is also nice. So that's pretty cool.
Do you note that you can use that multiple times too?
Yes, because it's outside before the game starts. So you can double up and be like, I have all of the abilities,
Yeah.
It's wild.
So one of my favorites outside of Absolute Authority is Denounce, which is like it's not the greatest. Like it could have been better for a once per battle ploy here. But it's basically Omni Scramble from Phobos, except it's a D3. So you just select one enemy and you roll a D3. They can't activate until that many other activations have happened on their side. So like if you roll a 3, they can't activate for 3 of their own activations. So that's really good if you pair it with like the Vetguard demo.
Then just blast somebody to
or just like you just don't want like their plasma to run up and plasma one of your dudes or something. So
yeah, on open board it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great ability and I love it. Let's go ahead and
I just wanted to point out one thing: the Emperor's Will. I'm sure that these rules were made before the balanced data slate came out for Exaction Squad. So they are going to end up having to fix this, but Emperor's Will allows you to ignore any or all modifiers to characteristics on a friendly for attack ploy, which does not exclude AP or defense modifiers like they changed for Exaction Squad. So I'm sure it will end up getting changed, but for now, rules as written, it does affect AP weapons. And there's an operative that has the exact same ability on this team, like that we'll get to. So something to look out for.
Do we want to lead right into that operative? Because there's a mixed match of all sorts of operative in this team. So you want to just go there?
Yeah, I mean, I can. It's the Penal Legionary agent. So Chem Mask, you ignore any or all modifiers to this operative's characteristics, and it's not affected by stun. So again, this currently gets around AP weapons. So he basically has a 5-up invul save.
That's nuts. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, this is honestly probably one of the ones that you're going to be taking less of the time. But it's just 7 wounds, 5-up save, 2 APL, which is pretty much the thing of this team. Hand Flamer, so 5s on 2s, 2/2, range 6, torrent of an inch. Chain Sword, 4s on 4s, 4/5, so you get some melee profile there, or a good melee profile there.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Chem Mask, so obviously he can't be stunned out in combat. He can't be injured, kind of thing. And then Cruel, so each time this operative fights in combat with or makes a shooting attack against an enemy operative with that has fewer than its starting wounds, you get Relentless. That's pretty good. That's I think that's similar to the and I can't remember it. I think Novitiates have something like that. I think.
Yeah, where
I'm not
something's
entirely
wounded.
sure. Yeah, something's like has less than its fewer wounds. You can like re-roll dice or something.
One of the recycled rules with a slight twist. It's there, and I'm sure someone will remember it.
Yeah.
I want to point out my favorite guy, which is the gun servitor. And I like him for one reason. He has the best plasma weapon in the game. Well,
I don't know why they gave it blast.
It's so weird. I mean, I guess the one restriction is at least it cannot fire Overwatch. There is that.
That's fair. And it's got heavy.
Weapon.
So the multi-melta can. Which is
the multi-melta can.
An
infinite range, yes. So there's an argument to keep that. And then I don't know if anyone will take the heavy bolter.
No.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think so.
There's no reason. Unless you're playing against like 60 Tyranids in a kill team game.
Yeah.
Even then I'd want blast.
I do want to note that the plasma cannon gets lethal 5 on Into the Dark. Because it's got blast.
Amazing.
Oh God, even worse. As if it wasn't rough enough. So you're going to take the plasma cannon, maybe the multi-melta. You probably never take the heavy bolter. And the servo claw's pretty good. 4 or 5 damage. Sure, you only got 3 attacks, but 4 or 5 it's not nothing. And he's surprisingly chunky. 4-up armor and 11 wounds. Yeah, but he needs to be near people, or else he only has 1 action.
They definitely did the right thing to him by saying like when giving him 1 APL at the start rather than giving him 2 APL at the start and minusing 1 for somebody not being within range.
Right.
Since you can only get a +1 APL, you could essentially, if it was the other way, you could have any model, like just give him, like any comms model, just give him 1. And then if he was near somebody, then he could get 3. But in this iteration, he's impossible to get 3 APL, so he can't move and shoot. But I think the coolest thing about this team is that you can have 3 plasmas on this team.
Yeah.
That's definitely something to look out for.
Whether you take,
especially when you can like pair this guy up with the skull, and so the skull gives him another APL when he activates, and if he's shooting within 2 inches of that skull, he can get an extra attack die.
5 attacks.
Yeah. So it becomes like
rough.
fives with the plasma cannon.
You still can't get the. You still can't gain +1 APL, right? In general.
You can, yeah. So
you can only get +1 max.
You can only get +1 or -1. Yeah. So like you can't give them like 2 APL, but you have like the skull move up within 3 of this guy, and then you have this guy activate. So now he's got 2 APL, and he can move up a little bit past the skull and shoot, still being within 2 of the skull. So you can have buddy system,
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting dynamic though.
See, I am mostly happy that you can take 2 of these guys on a team, and then I can have a multi-melta and a plasma cannon.
If you don't take your
I mean,
ancillary
yeah,
support.
that's fair. Yeah, and then you could
Yes.
have a multi-melted plasma cannon and a plasma pistol. So
Yeah, I'm super down.
I mean, you
Not
could
gonna
just
lie.
double up on plasma cannons, right? Could you take 2 guys? No, it's only 1 per, right?
I mean, think about this. This
Yeah.
team, this team, you could take, the plasma cannon or multi-melta, and then you can take your plasma pistolier, dude, and then you could take a melta-gun and a
you know
plasma
what?
cannon.
I'm looking at the operative selection here. So it says your kill team can only include each operative above once, unless you are not including ancillary support
Exactly.
option. In which case, you can include up to 2 gun servitor operatives.
Correct.
Oh, never mind. It does say max of 1 per kill team. So yeah, it would have to be 2 different weapons.
Yeah.
I was thinking that
That'd
you
be-
could
that'd be
take
too
2 plasma.
Yeah, because for a minute I thought the same thing, and then I had to relook at it.
That would be sick. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be very sick. And speaking of plasma and the pistolier, you want to go to that one next, since we're kind of just chaining off of dudes, because that's
Heck yeah.
that's what they do. All right, who wants to read it off?
Pistolier, I will. This guy, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4/5 damage, AP1. Awesome. So it's a plasma, a little less powerful because the air cools it down the further it goes. I guess I don't know. So it doesn't do as much as a standard plasma, but you can shoot it from across the map, which is amazing. You have your standard and your supercharge, which is within 6 because it is a pistol, and it's a standard range. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. 5/6 damage, range is 6 and AP1. This is essentially what the hero should have been.
Yes. Yeah.
You also get a suppressed auto pistol, which does 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 2/3 damage, and it has silent. So you could shoot it from silence if you absolutely had to. I'm sure there's going to be a couple things out there that you would want that. You can ignore all modifiers to this model's ballistic skill as well. And then pistol barrage is for 1 AP. You can make a shooting attack with both of the pistols.
Nice.
So obviously you're going to have to be within 6 inches of one model and infinite range of the other one. So, and you cannot perform this if this model has a conceal order. So it's going to be a super good model. This is probably the best model in the entire kill team, but I'm excited to see what you guys have for a possible list, because I have a possible list that I don't know if it's going to be good, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I also have possible lists, but
I too.
it's very matchup dependent, honestly.
It is, but I have one that I think is going to be fun. I don't know if it's going to be good.
Just whatever you do, don't take Sisters of Silence and your Psyker.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because she will turn off your own Psyker. Yeah.
Yeah, they do not work together. Sisters of Silence are psychic nulls in the 41st millennium. Nulls, which means they blank out all psychic presence of the warp anywhere around them, and they are difficult for psychers to be around. So your psyker wouldn't even like them in the first place. So just don't do it for his sake. Think about his
for
feelings.
flavor's sake. Yeah.
Yeah, for his feelings. So is there any other specific models that you guys really wanted to go over, or do you guys want to jump into our possible lists?
So I do just want to mention one more, and it was the Hexorcist. So you're probably not taking this every game, but against certain teams, like I said earlier, it could probably be a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just got a shotgun, 4s on 3s, 3/3, range 6, and fists, 3s on 4s, 2/3. So not exciting there. Where he does come in is utility. So he has Hexorcise. So each time an enemy operative visible to him within 6 of them fights in combat or makes a shooting attack, your opponent can't reroll their attack or defense dice for that combat or shooting attack. So it's basically just a 6-inch turn off rerolls. So it's okay. It's not the greatest. But then Chasten for 1, or Chasen, however you say that, for 1 APL. You can select an enemy operative within this operative's line of sight and within 6 inches of it. You can basically choose a ability, a unique action or ability that enemy operative has, and until its next activation, it's treated as not having that action or ability. So you can, again, like I said, turn off the reanimation from the reanimation plasma site. You can like if there's like a beastman that's in frenzy, you can turn off the frenzy token and it just ceases to exist. Like there's some cool stuff that you can do with this. The only thing that you can't do is take away like a specific ability from like a melee weapon or shooting weapon that has an asterisk next to it. So but
with this, I'm assuming that you can just walk right up to a beastman that's already in frenzy and just take it away, and then
yep, it just takes away the frenzy ability, and because the beastman is at 0 health for frenzy, it just dies. So
there's a lot of denial. I feel like this is like a blue deck if you're playing it, like a blue red,
exactly.
a blue red deck for Magic.
I've already seen references for that.
Oh, really? That's fantastic. Yeah. So one of the ideal matchups that I think would actually pretty decent for a veteran guard pairing, right, would be you take your quest keeper agent who has the unrelenting, the zealot, like the melee. You would take your, who's the guy that gets the, there's a model on this team that has a feel no pain.
That's the quest keeper. The 5-up feel no pain.
Is it? Okay,
yep.
That's what I thought. Okay, so you can take this guy, right? And then you can take the medic from Vetguard. You can also take the hardened veteran from Vetguard. And now
he's the one that also has a 5-up feel no pain, right?
Correct. And it does 4-5 damage in close combat. So now you have 2 5-ups. You have a medic in case if one of them dies. Which, I mean, if they die in close combat, then you can't resurrect them. But that's besides the point. That's not okay. So you can make an actual kind of decently scary kill team because they also have these like the power knives, which are unrealistically not good for their equipment point cost. 3 EP for a 3-5 lethal 5 damage, which is not the worst, but you obviously want 4 attacks instead of the 3 attacks that it offers. But you could actually make a decent close combat team with this team. You could take your Enlightener agent as well and force somebody to be wounded, that's kind of nuts. Yeah. This is the good version of the melee team I've always wanted.
And then on top of all of that, where is he? You can take oh goodness. Is he not in here? Oh, right there. The Death World veteran, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go around and poke people with your knife and just
he's so
one
good.
shot him.
Yeah.
And you can charge from conceal. Like that's actually really good. Like,
I mean, it is only 1 attack, but
true.
For his
but
knife.
You have ways of turning that into a normal or a crit with lethal 5, and I believe one of the abilities, one of the consecrated tomb abilities, or the tomb abilities, right? No, the Psyker, right? I think the Psyker can turn like a normal hit into a crit or a failed into a normal hit, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yeah. So as long as they're within 6 of him and they go to combat, you can just turn a normal hit or a failed into a normal hit or a normal hit into a crit. So you can pair that out with that. Just start little stabbing people in the back.
Yeah, I could definitely see having quite a lot of fun with this team and being able to make like a super melee team. I mean, obviously the better melee option is the Sisters of Silence with the power swords and the 3-up saves. But we're not talking about the best. We're talking about like, how do we make these guys like tanky? Because I have like a hero veteran guard squad where they're all like action heroes and stuff. And I specifically think that this team would be quite amazing with the with making like Mel Gibson into the interrogator agent. Make him like from Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
There's so many good.
There's a lot of kit bash potential.
Absolutely. You can make the dude. You could just make this whole team Mel Gibson. Let's think about it. You can make the quest keeper into Mad Max. You know what I mean? Like you could just go crazy with this. It could be a blast.
Oh yeah. The Mystic agent is giving me like severe Jedi Temple Guard vibes. Because
Oh,
it looks
yeah?
like he's like blinded. He's got like the robe on. He's got some armor, and he's holding like the big staff
Mhm.
kind of thing. Yeah, giving me like those vibes. I could definitely see like a Star Wars themed inquisitorial team.
Oh, I can see that too. This team looks like it's going to be a lot of. I mean, the Mystic Agent. Did we already talk about the Mystic Agent?
I don't think I mentioned one of his actions, but I didn't really go into depth. So
Gotcha. Yeah, it's quite. He's quite good as well, right? Um, yeah, I'm very excited about this team. So there's some good stuff here, and there's a lot of good stuff here. So
yeah, I'm definitely excited. I will probably end up trying to kit bash up both teams and
Okay.
try them out. So
are you going to be using your actual models? So are you gonna? Do you already have any Kasserkin or Vet Guard or anything like that you're going to be
so
pairing?
I have Sisters of Silence and I have
Okay.
Exaction Squad. I could use Blooded as Vet Guard. Like
Yes.
they're nearly 1-for-1.
Heretic.
And then I know Brett has Kazarkin and our buddy Nate, also from Six Sided Legion, has Breachers. So we have every option like available to practice with, I guess,
Mhm.
or try out. So I'm definitely excited.
Are any of these going to be your main that you swap to, or what are you playing these days?
So currently I'm going to Kansas City Open in a couple weeks, not even, and I am taking Hunter Clade again. So going back to that, I played them for a while last year. I tried Exaction Squad, but I don't think it's going to work until they get a buff. Honestly,
With this team already? You tried?
Oh no, not with the
Oh.
Inquisitorial team.
I was
Just
like,
in general.
whoa.
In general, no. The Inquisitorial team, I feel like would make Exaction Squad way better. Like it plays to their strengths way more than the actual team.
Absolutely, it does.
Especially
It's almost
because
like it was meant to be. You know, it's like
exactly
they were meant to be in it.
and especially because something you may have not seen yet, but Exaction Squad's ruthless efficiency. So the ability to shoot in combat is on the data cards themselves. So
Mhm.
any operatives you bring into this team, keep that. So you can shoot into engagement range with them while playing the Inquisitorial team. It's amazing. I love it.
And you can
so
take
much.
the dog,
And you can take the dog
which
and
is
the
best
leash
part.
master. Oh my goodness, yes. And then their comms is like half as good as the Kazarkin comms. All you need is visibility.
Yeah.
So like, you're not losing a ton, right? And then you've got beefy 4.4 shotguns,
Let's be honest. You still would never take the Arbites marksman. You just wouldn't.
No,
A
I
shotgun
would.
sniper. Just don't do it, guys.
So
just don't do it.
There's
Ladies,
also
girls,
one other thing
men.
I wanna point out about the Exaction Squad is if you
Mhm.
take the Mallocator, he can do free mission or pickup actions, or like for one less APL, and then you also have
Ooh.
Servo Skull to also do that, and then you can take the Revelatum to give him a 6-inch move like pregame, and then you
Ooh.
take your Recon Dash. Like you can get on objectives very quickly with an Inquisitorial, like the guys.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of crazy.
You can start stealing objectives real fast too. You also have a cop that can take away cover as well, which could
Yes.
help your plasma cannon.
Yes. Yeah, the Revelatum.
Can you that's the same guy, right?
Yes, so the same guy that gets the free 6-inch fly move with like after initiative or after scouting or whatever, he can also take away conceal orders while within 6 of him. It's an APL, and then anybody that targets that enemy within 3 of the Revelatum treats it as having an engage order. So it's like a 9-inch like swap, like spotter kind of thing. So it's like not great, but yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's definitely worth using in certain matchups. So
if you could only choose one ancillary support for this team, what would the one support team that you would take?
Exaction Squad, 100%. Like I know Vet Guard is really good, and I know Kazar can have their uses, but I just love the fact that I can now use Exaction Squad and like do some new cool things with them. So
Absolutely. I mean, I think Exaction Squad's probably like A tier with them. I mean, to be honest, all these guys are good. Like even the Breachers, you can bring the Axeman, you can bring the Grenadier, you can bring the Endurant, the dude with the shield, right? You can bring so many people.
yep. I just like I guess the more utility that Exaction Squad brings rather than the straight damage output that like Breachers or Vet Guard would have.
Yeah, I think that Exaction Squad is going to be great into certain matchups, while I still don't think they'd have enough damage
For elites.
to kill elites. Yeah. So you might not want to bring them to
would
Legionary.
Personally, like I kind of thought about this, splitting it up into 3 different groups. So like you have 3 different ancillary supports, and just bringing Breachers or not Breachers, Exaction Squad as one, Sisters of Silence as the second one, and then Vet Guard as the third.
Okay.
So Vet Guard is like the overall, like if you need a lot of damage or you're going against elites, I think that's the team you bring.
So why would you choose Vet Guard over Kasrkin?
Vet Guard has more, what's the word? I guess flexibility with its damage, right? Because you can take the same gunners, but you also get the what's it called?
Can't you also bring the Zealot and then make the
that's
plasma
what I was saying.
cannon also have 5-up lethal?
Either the Zealot or the Confidant you get access to, which the Confidant can GA2 with the servitor.
Anything.
Yeah, with anything, yeah. But yeah, so it just has a little bit more flexibility and the same gunners. Like everything's hitting on 4s. The Kasrkin has 8. They have 8 wounds, but you get an extra body with Vet Guard.
Sometimes that's what you need.
And yeah, and like the comms isn't as good as Kasrkin. So maybe if you really want the Kasrkin comms, that's what you're taking them for. But otherwise, I mean, the demo trooper for Vet Guard, especially with like the what is it called? The Denounce strategic ploy, I think it's just too good. And then being able to like comms your demo trooper as well. I think that you've just got so many ways to output damage with Vet Guard, especially with the rules from Inquisitorial agents. So
absolutely
personal take, but I know there's a lot of debate going around right now. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, see who settles on what. But
yeah,
Exaction Squad's definitely like my go-to for normal matchups.
I think YouTube is going to heavily decide what people play, but I think that what people are good with is typically what they should take. So if you play a lot of Navy Breachers and you're thinking of bringing this team, you should bring Navy Breachers, and you're probably going to have the most success with it. If you play Kasrkins, you're probably going to want to bring them just because you know how the team works and you know the operatives. Now, I would say that, Scions, Kasrkins, and Vet Guard are all pretty similar. The ones that are going to vary very differently are your Sisters of Silence, Exaction Squad, and Navy Breachers. So,
yeah, I think too, with most of these teams, like they kind of I don't want to say heavily rely, but they definitely rely on their team abilities and their ploys and the equipment and stuff. So like Breachers losing stims, losing defense order, or attack order, and losing like blitz and the GA2 is kind of hard. So they're not like the greatest. They're now just kind of hitting on 4s, and you've got some melee specialists.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of same thing with Vet Guard, because you don't get the re-rolling ones. Yeah, you don't get.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, I don't use it that often.
Yeah, it just helps, right? It helps to nullify the plasma, rolling ones on plasma and stuff like that. But I think when it comes down to it, Exaction Squad, in my opinion, hot take here, is probably the least affected by that. Because like I said, they get to keep their ruthless efficiency, right? They get to keep their one faction thing. And then you just lose access to like your
Orders?
one reroll ploy. And I was talking about Exaction Squad.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but yeah, Vet Guard's orders is kind of big. Losing that is kind of big.
Yeah. I mean, I think our BDs are going to be really, really good, and it's going to be really fun to see them on the tabletop, because in the tournaments thus far, I have not seen them make an outing.
I haven't seen. Yeah,
I've only seen them come out at our all random tournament that we had back on April 1st.
Okay, so
yeah,
very very not like competitive.
Yeah.
So I also enjoy the fact that I could technically play sisters, which Talons was my first kill team, and they don't have a bespoke team yet. So being able to table them in a bespoke team would be kind of cool. So.
And their models are amazing. I think that it sucks that you don't get the mask or whatever. But
yeah, the Vertine faceplates are a loss, but they also have power armor, which like unless you're taking shields with Exaction Squad, you don't get with any of the other ancillary support.
Yeah,
so,
and also, do you want to go up to a model like a 4/6? Isn't their power? Are their power weapons 4/5 or 4/6?
It's 4s on 3s, 4/6 lethal 5. So it's a power weapon, and then
you get 5
3 up save, 8 wounds. On top of that, you start adding in like the quarry, which allows you to I think you just gain or you get an auto hit or something against a guy.
Yeah, what I'm
you can
seeing
reroll
right
an
now,
attack type, but like
this is just the better version of Talons. Like, would you rather have the 2 Talons, or would you rather have
the Inquisitorial guys? I'd rather have the Inquisitorial guys.
Exactly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, if you're going to play the sisters, you might as well play this team too.
Yep.
It's like,
also,
hey, I'm playing into Warp Coven. I'm bringing Sisters of Silence.
Yep. Or Harlequins, right? Because your melee threatens them a lot, right? And then all of a sudden you can get close enough to turn off their Psyker. Their Psyker can't use any of the abilities against them. Like, it's pretty good matchup, in my opinion.
I can't wait to kill somebody with just my knife from my Death World veteran. I'm just going to run up and just do like, hey, I'm just going to do this one attack.
Yeah, I can't wait to die to it every game because I'm playing Clade or Exaction Squad with 7 wounds. I also can't wait to try 5 sisters with flamers on Into the Dark with this team.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because you get everything else plus 5 sisters with flamers.
At the end of the last edition of Kill Team back in like 2019, or it was 2020 or 2021, right before this edition came out. There was right when COVID was like starting to be like, hey, you can actually go in stores now. They ran a Kill Team tournament for the hero models. So I brought Eisenhorn with like 9 flamers, and I lost every single game because because it was bad. But all I wanted to do was purge the enemy, and just with fire, and whether it's heretics or Xenos scum, and it was great. Lost every game.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta play a thematic game,
Yeah, absolutely. But this is bringing it back. Five Sisters of Silence with flamers.
It's very very thematic for Inquisitors. Yeah.
If BAO let us, I would have brought this team. Too bad it's way too late. I think it releases the day BAO comes out.
When is this team released? It's supposed to be like the 27th or something, right?
27th, yeah, the 27th.
When's BAO, right?
Yeah, BAO is on the 27th and 28th.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if these teams are going to be legal for Kansas City, because Kansas City is the weekend after.
Maybe not.
It'd be really cool to see like what people do last minute if they want to take them. But
usually I see a 2-week minimum, and they might have tried to push this team out right after that 2-week mark. But I'm not sure what GW's actual policies are. GW might have hey, it's our rules. You can run rules all the way up to the day that we release them on our tournament. So
yeah, I haven't seen anything so far. So I will probably have to just check like wherever they have that posted.
If you run them, you got to make sure you let us know, because I'm going to be watching that tournament.
Yeah,
very, very closely to see how you perform.
I would have to.
No pressure.
I mean, realistically, I could probably do it. I would just have to paint up sisters and then like try to kit bash the team, right? With other models, which I thought about doing with like my Star Striders, right? And just taking some of the models and kit bashing them together, and like making the Inquisitor guys, or taking like I've got like a Tech Priest engines here, and just like strapping a Cataphren plasma cannon to his backpack, for the servitor.
Is anyone at excited trying to get this box, or have you guys given up?
No, I don't think so. Brett's talked about it just so he can get the Chaos team. But I already have almost the whole Chaos team. I have enough stuff to kit bash the Inquisitors, and I'm not a big narrative person, so it's not really worth trying to fight scalpers for at this point.
Fair enough.
So,
absolutely.
And now, real quick, before we get to the rest of this episode, let's quickly talk about the narrative thing we've been doing with Mr. Rob. Let's bring on the next part now.
Chapter 1, Mission 4, Supply Drop.
We have enough intelligence. There's nothing left for us on this awful moon. It is time to travel to the crash site of the Emperor's Bounty of Austral 2. Vital supplies are incoming for the next step in your mission, but the foe will try to intercept them. Clear all 3 potential landing zones of the enemy. If you fail, we will be lost.
Welcome to Mission 4 from Chapter 1 in the Emperor's Bounty campaign. This is the last mission of the first chapter. So far in this chapter, you've scouted out the possible location of the escape mission or possibly the relic itself. In Chapter 1, Mission 3, you and your opponent fought over control of Captain Van Brent herself in an attempt to gain more information about the Emperor's Bounty and its crash. In this last mission, it's time to regroup and prepare to travel from the moon of Oxygen 4 to the planet of Austral 2nd and the crash site of the Emperor's Bounty. In this mission, you and your opponent are going to be fighting over 3 possible landing sites of some much-needed supplies. In this mission, the first 2 turning points, each objective is worth 2 victory points. In the third turning point, you'll remove one of those 3 objectives by rolling a dice. Then the other 2 objectives will be worth 3 victory points. On the 4th turning point, you're going to remove a second objective. There will only be 1 left on the board. That one will be worth 6 victory points, and that will be the location of the new supplies. There are bonus mission rules for this mission. If at any point your leader controls one of the possible landing sites at the end of the turning point, you can add 1 piece of rare equipment to your stash. If a friendly model controls the final landing site at the end of the battle, you can choose a second scouting action in addition to the action you choose during the scouting step of your next mission, which should be Mission 1 of Chapter 2 in this campaign. If you do that, you need to notify your opponent that you will be choosing a second scouting option, and initiative is still determined by your first choice. Remember, this is the last mission of Chapter 1, so there's extra bonus rules that come into play. If you complete all 4 missions in this chapter, regardless of victory or defeat, you may distribute 2 experience points to any operatives, as long as they were not incapacitated in any of the missions. If you fail to win any of those missions, then you may add a new operative to your kill team for no cost with 6 experience points, automatically taken to the veteran rank. Then choose to roll for your battle honor for this operative. Also, by now you should have completed your first spec op. If you have not yet completed your spec op, then you can continue it in the second chapter, but you will only be stuck with that 1 spec op. Or you can abandon it and start over with a new spec op in your next chapter. If you did finish that spec op, make sure you get all of your rewards and you'll get to pick a new spec op in Chapter 2. As always, the point of this campaign is to have fun and build a community, so please let us know how it's going so far. I've completed the first chapter so far with my Phobos strike team. They were pretty successful, not all wins, but did pretty well. And at this point, I have quite a few of my operatives already leveled up to the veteran rank. In addition, I got a few extra bits of rare equipment and a pretty stacked asset. So you should be able to do the same based on this 4th mission. But if not, there's still 3 more chapters to go. Follow along next as we go to the planet of Austral 2 and explore the crash site of the Emperor's Bounty itself. As always, thanks for playing. Keep us posted on the Squad Games Discord or directly to the mission activities on the website tabletop-highlander.wordpress.com.
And there you go. That's the last part of Mission 1. We'll see y'all at Mission 2.
Well, do you have anything that you want to shout out or anything like that?
Well, I got a couple things. Obviously, Six Sided Legion. We just posted the new battle report. It is Hunterclade versus Gellerpox on Into the Dark. So it is a very, very interesting game. I would recommend going and watching it. And we're trying to push out content as frequently as we can with our busy schedules. Otherwise, Luster Workshops, honestly, great terrain, awesome dude. Go check him out and get some very consistent, very good board setups because I love your terrain, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. And of course, Squad Games. You bring some good content into the Kill Team community. So
thanks, brother. Appreciate you. The thing that I'd like to shout out is our YouTube channel and our patrons. So our YouTube channel, we dropped an episode a couple weeks ago where we all did a terrain challenge. The ending period for voting is coming up pretty soon. So one of us is going to have to eat a habanero pepper. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go and check it out. Let us know who did the best on the YouTube challenge, who painted it the best. And, I'm looking forward to, seeing the results and then, just making more content for you guys. And I'd also like to shout out our patrons. They are ultimately what make this podcast and us, viable and have us do this. So I appreciate you guys. And I'd also like to shout out everyone who goes to our tournaments. You're the reason why we do it and you're the reason why we keep doing it. So thank you for everyone who comes out and supports us at each and every tournament, and look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. How about you, G?
I would just like to let everyone know that you can find me on Instagram at wargaming_studios. And like we mentioned earlier, we're on YouTube. You can join us on our Discord. And that's it, guys. Until next time. See you.
I'm Giacomo, and I like feet. He's gonna laugh at this. He's gonna laugh at this a lot.